Awesome. So once Marco is available, Marco drop in the chat. But welcome to Becoming Lit. And I'm so happy to have you at this masterclass. So what we're doing here is learning how to thrive sober, get high off your habits, and fall in love with your life. I'm going to share a lot about the ways I've been able to create this for myself, some of my clients' examples, just like things that I really think are so important to understand and know as human beings that we don't get taught. All right. So I just want you to drop in the chat where you're from, what you're passionate about, and why you're here. Let me know in the chat. I am a big person. I'm very into engagement and getting you guys to drop things in the chat, and I ask a lot of questions. So we're starting it off with this. Let me know where you're from, what you're passionate about, and why you're here. Amazing. And Marco, I want to see you drop in the chat just so I know you are alive, present, and you can hear me. Okay, there you are. Amazing. Beautiful. Hello. We had 3 Marcos at one point, and I was like, whoa, triple Marco? I'm here for it though. Major tech issue. It's all good. I don't know what's happening today, but it's okay. We're here. Let me know. Yeah. So drop in the chat where you're from. Well, I know you're both from Vancouver, so you can just share what you're passionate about and why you're here. And I'd love to hear those 2 things from you too. Germany. Oh, Germany. Yeah. I love that. I will wait patiently. I love chilling. Tech and community, yes. Community is a big one for me. As you know, community is huge. Tech is also really cool. And I know there's lots of ways to use tech to elevate our lives. So keep dropping in the chat. And I'm going to move on, but I still want you to do this. So we are here because you want to learn how to thrive sober, get high off life, get high off your habits, and fall in love with your life. Oh, hi, Marco. Nice to see your face. Hey. All right, so drop a yes in the chat if this is why you're here. You want to learn either all of these things or just some of these things, or you're just curious, like, I like the vibe. I want to feel better. Like what you're talking about intrigues me. Drop a yes in the chat if any of the above apply. Amazing, Marco. A little Mithy, I'm waiting for you to drop in the chat. Maybe you're writing an essay. That's okay too. So if you feel like there's a better experience, a better way to experience your day-to-day life, and if you feel like the way you feel every day, maybe it's not the way you want to be feeling, you know that there's better, there's more, you just want to feel better, be happier, be more calm, whatever you're desiring, I want you to know that there totally is. There totally is. And I'm here to show you and give you a glimpse and just like build really solid foundations to help you experience what life can be like. And I have a story I'll share later, but there is so much more waiting for you. Okay, I'm reading this. Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed with you too, girl. You're incredible. Passionate about music, culture, festivals, fashion, human rights, equality, peace on earth. I love all those things. And I think like there's so much we can jam on. But yes, 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 yes. So I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you. And I always start off a lot of my master classes with this because if you can resonate, when I was younger, I thought there was something wrong with me. I'm like, why can't I figure this out? Like, why can't I do this? Like, why am I not motivated? Why am I doing this? Like, let me know if you've ever had these thoughts and you're like, is something wrong with me? Like, what the fuck? Like, and just feeling really frustrated. You're like, man, I feel like life shouldn't be this hard. Like, what is happening? And sometimes I thought, like, what is wrong with me? Right? Yeah, Marco, thanks for dropping that. And so there is nothing wrong with you. Like, over the years, I realized there's nothing wrong with us. It's just how we've been able to cope with how life has been. And it's actually perfectly meant to support us and protect us. But clearly there's things we want to improve and we will do that. But there's nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly fine and perfectly normal. All right. And also you are so capable. Like you have the capacity to really change your life, to improve your well-being and your mental health and take action and there's so much more things that we can do. I really believe every human being is so beautiful and has so much potential and really can make massive changes in their own life and others' lives. And so I want you to know that I believe in you. You're so capable. And hopefully through this, we'll be really tapping into some of the inner belief for everyone here. All right. So I know everyone has some sort of dream, some sort of thing they want to create, some like burning desire. And we're going to talk more about this too. But I would love for you to drop your dream in the chat. Like, what is a big dream you have of yours? What is something you really want to create or experience, or yeah, like a dream you're working towards? And for me, I mean, some of you can probably guess, but my big dream is to start hosting and having epic sober dance parties all over the world. Not only that, is to also help people feel really good about themselves. And that's why I'm doing this masterclass, to share people the methods and the mindsets and the shifts that I've created for myself that I think are really valuable for humans to know, and how to be lit, like how to get lit, how to feel good every day and empower yourself to do these things. And so my dream is to help people dance and feel incredible in a sober state and get lit, which is my own interpretation of like feeling epic and having high states of well-being. And so what are your dreams? Let me know in the chat. I love that. You know, I've really thought about that, like going somewhere out of the city and building community in a way that's like how we used to live, like a communal living, or like, you know, common grounds, or having, because I feel like how we live right now is really not optimal. Like we really have messed things up as a society, and just like we're really isolated and lonely, and like we don't have the community pieces anymore. So I love that, because I have a idea around that as well. And like, yeah, communal living and just really supporting each other, and like knowing your neighbors and having the kids play together, and that, you know, back to the good old times. But yeah, I love that, Marco. And I know Mithy, you got big dreams. So I know you're typing away. I'm gonna keep talking though. So if you're someone that knows you have big dreams, you want to improve your life, you want to feel better, you want to learn how to, yeah, really just live your lit life, you're in the right place. I'm so happy you're here. If you're watching the replay, thank you for being here as well. So my intention today is to share my signature method that really supported me to being lit, and helping you walk away with more clarity and some practical steps that you can take to improve your life. So I'm very much of a person, like my coaching style is very practical. It's very like, okay, what are we going to do today to help you achieve the goal you have? And so I want to make sure everyone leaves here with clarity and with literal steps. So I hope you have a notebook or a notepad or something, because I have a lot of things that we're going to write down and work through to help support you for that. All right. So all I ask from you is to please be fully present. Please engage with me, which you already are, which is amazing. Please ask any questions that come up. Be super open-minded to what I'm going to share, and be in your empowered self. And when I say your empowered self, I say the version of you that knows that you're meant for more, the version of you that knows that you are going to be okay and that you're going to figure it out. And the person that, yeah, is believing in themselves, because there's different ways you can come and show up in your life, right? Sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, and like you're doubting yourself and in that energy, and that's natural to have. But there's always that other piece of us that knows that we can do this, that has that belief and that determination. And so I'm speaking to that empowered self, and I want you to bring that person, that version here to this masterclass. All right. So drop a yes in the chat if you are okay with all these things: being present, engaging, asking questions, being open-minded, and being your empowered self. Hell yeah, baby. Ooh, yes. You know what? The present moment thing has been coming up immensely in everyone I've been talking to. Yes, yes. Ooh, ah, ooh, I love that. A lot of things, I align with a lot of those things. Yay! Wow, I love it. And you know what? I'm just so grateful to the two of you, because it's so awesome. Yeah, you did. You did. So in alignment. Oh, anyway, okay. Of course. Of course. We tapped in, baby. We're on the same wavelength vibration. Okay. So let me know if this resonates. All right. Some of it may, some of it might not. Maybe you're tired of feeling exhausted, anxious, and scattered, and you know that you're meant for more and you're meant to feel so good. All right. Because I know I was living a life where I felt like this, and I was like, there must be more. Okay. Maybe You love the party, you love going out, you love dancing, but you're also realizing like the way you've been doing is taking a toll on you, and you really want to start prioritizing your health and well-being. Yeah, that's something that I have been really tapping into. And sometimes when life is lifing and you feel the emotions coming up and like shit seems like it's hitting the fan, you often want to escape and not feel that way. And you know that you want to create better coping mechanisms to support your emotional, mental, spiritual well-being. Yeah, let me know if any of these scenarios have resonated with you, or you can resonate with them right now. Did any of them resonate? Yeah. Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah. The caps. Well, if those resonate with you, then I am so happy to help you work on shifting that. So if you don't know me, I'm Pearl. I'm a former dietitian turned entrepreneur. So I used to be a dietitian, used to work in hospitals, used to work with sick patients and work with them with their nutrition to help them feel better. I would work with the doctors and the nurses to help like improve their labs, and I look at their blood work and okay, this person needs this. And we really try to support, but the system has so many barriers. Yes, it is. I know. The system has so many barriers, and there's only so much I could do when I went to work every day. And I actually started becoming really depressed and anxious and just really low mood because I would go into the workplace, I would see my sick patients, I would try to do everything I could to make them better, to, talk to doctors. And I often got backlash. Like, and I was the person, I'm like, hey, like, why are we doing this? This makes no sense. Like, actually, that's making people sick. Oh, actually, that person didn't need that medication. Like, I was that person, and I always got backlash. Doctors were like, oh, no, whatever, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. And because I was a young dietitian, like, I just graduated, but I knew in my heart that, like, how we were treating people in the hospital was not good. Like, we're not actually helping them, we're making them sick. And I couldn't go to work anymore because I just felt so depressed and sad every day I go to work and feel like I was just not making a difference. So I quit my hospital job. I gave up my dietitian license. And so I became an entrepreneur. I wanted to start my own business, my own way of helping people in a way that I knew could actually support them because things were just not working with the system clearly. And so that has been a beautiful journey over the last 3 years of figuring out like what I want to do, being a health coach, being this coach, doing that, do that, blah, blah. And obviously I'm a big dancer. So I came up with the idea of BioRave, and I'm sure some of you know are aware of BioRave, which is my movement around bringing health and wellness to the rave and party scene and helping ravers and people that love the party and dance and music help them achieve optimal health. And that's really something that I really believe everyone deserves to have. And the system makes it very hard to achieve optimal health, but I have the hope of helping people make it more accessible, make it more basic, more easy, really simplify things. And so I'm really obsessed with helping people feel really good and live their most lit up life. All right. But this wasn't always the case. I'm already losing my voice. Holy shit. Excuse me. Okay. But this wasn't always the case. Like people see me and they meet me now and they're like, oh my God, wow, like you were so energetic and you have so much energy and well, you're so happy and bubbly, you're always dancing and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, this is me now. But I wasn't always like this. A big chunk of my life, like the majority of my life, I was like this. I'd wake up every morning, I wouldn't be happy. I had anxiety. I had bad PMS symptoms, which meant my hormones were out of whack. My emotions were out of whack. I was lacking motivation, didn't have confidence in myself. Even though I worked out, I went to the gym, I ate healthy, my inner world was really detrimental. I had really negative self talk. I was often stressed and overwhelmed. And I would wake up every day feeling like this. And for some time, I was like, oh, this is normal. Like, my friends will also wake up feeling low and like, everyone like, oh, we're lacking motivation or like we're anxious and this and that. Like, oh, that's normal. Like having period cramps and all these things that I was experiencing was very normalized when I was growing up. And a lot of things that happened in my upbringing made like my self-talk and like my emotions and how I was treating myself normal because that's how I was conditioned to be. So to me, I was like, that's all I've known. And so I was like, yeah, but there was a breaking point for me. And everyone has their rock bottom, but I don't believe you have to hit rock bottom to make a change. And so for me, what happened was a big part of my mission and my vision is inspired by my sister. And so my little sister passed away a couple years ago. And maybe you know this, maybe you haven't. I don't talk about it that much, but I've mentioned it a couple of times on my Instagram, especially when it's her birthday or her anniversary. But my little sister took her own life a couple of years ago when she was 16. And so when this happened, I was already not doing that great mentally, but obviously, as you can imagine, her death really shook me, like rocked my world. I was so upset. I was so confused. I like couldn't understand how that could happen. And like it just really affected me. But because I didn't have the tools and there were certain circumstances that didn't support me to thrive and like feel better, I suppressed a lot of my emotion. Thank you for sharing that, Mithy. Yeah, loss is hard, and people don't really talk about how to navigate, how to cope, and things like that. So I really suppressed my emotions for a long time. And I would, wasn't processing my grief. I wasn't allowing myself to feel sad. Like I was guilting myself, feeling shame, like all the things. And I didn't know how to process it. And I was trying to navigate, going to work, being a dietitian, doing this, doing that, like trying to live and pay my rent. And like life was just so overwhelming for me. And so I felt worse and worse and worse. And my anxiety got worse. And I started having panic attacks. And, like things were just like not great. And so I remember one day, my breaking point, one of them, I've had many, but my breaking point was that I was supposed to hang out with a friend one night and she bailed on me. And at the time, like I didn't express how much I really needed to see a friend and how much I really like just wanted to like connect with someone and like be with another human being because I spent a lot of time on my own. And so she was like, "Oh yeah, I can't come, sorry." And that literally broke me. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I had literally the most visceral reaction to her text. I was not okay. I was like hyperventilating. I was crying. I was having a panic attack. I couldn't breathe. I was on the floor. I was like yelling. I was like, oh my God. It was like an episode. And something happened. Like in that moment, I was on the floor, like having this whole thing. And it was like an out of body experience. I don't know if any of you have ever had this happen to you, but like I came out of my body, I saw myself down on the floor crying, and I just heard a voice that was like, "Yo, like Pearl, this is not what you're meant to be doing. Like you need to wake up. You need to work on improving your well-being. Like this is not it. This is not it." Basically, it was like, "Get your shit together, right?" Yeah. So I came back to my body and I was like, I literally made me stop crying. I was like, oh, okay, like I need to get my shit together. And it was just such a weird experience. Like it's like a switch flipped. And I was like, okay, well, we're gonna get our shit together. Like that was not okay. Clearly, I need help. And so I don't know if you ever had this experience like that where you just like woke up. Like I really woke up. It was like an ego death for me, whatever you want to call it. So I woke up and I started to really look into like mindset, like why I'm anxious, how to heal grief, how to work with the body somatically, and like just little things I started to really look into. And I went to a counselor and just like started talking, started expressing, doing research, diving into mindset and neuroscience and the brain and all the things, and started to take the day-to-day steps, doing something every day to help myself feel good. And this is how I created my method I'm going to share with you. Because every day I was like, okay, I'm going to make myself feel good. Like, what can I do today to feel good, to feel better, to improve my state, to shift my mindset, to work my narrative, to heal, to feel, to express, and like really exploring, okay, how can I feel my best? And every day for the past 3 years, I've committed to my mission of me feeling my best, but also helping others feel their best. Right. And so now I'm here, I've optimized my energy, I'm happier, confident, I'm doing my soul's work, I feel on purpose, I feel lit up every day. I'm so grateful that, I was able to have these challenges that allow me to share my knowledge with you guys. Right. And not only you guys, but also my clients who feel incredible, who are happy, they're more focused, and they, really start to navigate how to create a healthier life for themselves. And that's what I want to help you guys do too. And so, are we ready? Are we ready? Drop yes in the chat. Drink some water too. Amazing. Okay, so we're going to talk about today thriving sober, creating daily high, I call them high habits, and you'll see why, which are also biohacks, and falling in love with your life. Okay, these are things that I think are so crucial to living your most best life on this earth as humans and tapping into your potential. Now, when I say the word sober, I want to see what comes up for you when I say the word sober. Drop it in the chat. and I'll share like my interpretation of it. I truly believe everyone gets to have their own definition of sober in the way that works for them. And there's no right or wrong. It's whatever works for you. Also, I'm not sure if you can see how cute is my disco water bottle thing. It's like oh, so cute. I love disco balls. Anyway, yeah. When I say the word sober, what comes up for you? Like, what is your interpretation of it? What does sober create? Like, what comes to your mind when I say the word sober? It's all good, girl. I'll repeat myself all day. Clarity. Anything else? Alcohol free. Mm-hmm. Marco. Mm-hmm. That's good. Okay, so for me, and again, everyone gets their own definition of it based on their life experience. For me, being sober is not never drinking or never doing drugs or never doing any of these things ever again in your life. So I think it's really unrealistic, especially as someone personally that likes to party. But for me, it's being able to express how I want to, feel how I want to, be my most full expression of myself without relying on anything. And if I choose to do anything that is coming from a very mindful, empowered, educated place, if I choose to do a drug or have a drink, it's intentional and I know exactly what's going to do to my body and I know how to control myself. That's what I really believe being sober is. Now, of course, take what you like for that, leave what you don't, but I don't need anything to have the experience I desire. And if I do choose, that's like my empowered choice. Yeah. So the reliance on it isn't there. Okay. Now, the LIT method is something that I've created and I've been saying the word lit for like years. Okay. And it's really funny that like my whole business is around this word lit. I'm like, yeah, that's lit. Let's get lit, 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 lit. You know, I think it's a great word and it really represents like my energy. And so as I was navigating, like working through my own transformation and like improving my own mental health and everything, I really reflected on like, hey, what has helped me become so much more energized, like love my life, like work on myself and like be healthy. And it came down to these four areas of my life. So it was the soul, it was the heart, it was the body, and it was the mind. Okay, and I have a really fun acronym for this, and I call it the shabam. So it's shabam because it's SHBM, shabam. We're getting lit. Okay, so that's something I say to myself often. So I really like to have fun. I'm silly. So shabam. So every day we get the shabam. Now, fasten your seatbelts, okay? Because I have a lot I want to cover. And we're going to go a little faster. So fasten your seatbelts, get in the car. I'm going to start to share all the things in each of these pillars. And so take your notes, ask your questions. If I'm talking too fast, let me know. But we're going to zoom through this because I have a lot I want to cover. So the first one is soul. Okay, soul. This is so important because I believe each human has a unique soul and we're here for a purpose and for a reason. And when we're connected to that and we know what we're here to do and we're able to tap into that energy on a daily basis, that helps us feel lit up, right? Because when we're doing a soul sucking job or something we're not passionate about or like we're not on our purpose, it actually makes us feel not great from my experience. And I think that's pretty universal. So when I say soul, I mean your intuition, like listening to your inner self, being soul led, living an on purpose life, right? Tapping into your inner guidance system. A lot of the ways we live nowadays actually disconnect us from our inner guidance. And I really think every human has such infinite intelligence within them if they're willing to tap into it. So this is something that I really think is important to really connect to. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a nice deep breath. How cute is elephant? Oh my God. Anyway, I love this when I found it. But we're gonna take a couple of deep breaths. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. And I want you to just type in the chat what comes up for you. Like the first thing that comes up for you, you're gonna type in the chat, okay? So we're gonna take 3 deep breaths. All right, so we're gonna inhale and exhale. Good, connecting into the body, getting out of the mind. We're gonna inhale and exhale. relaxing the body, relaxing shoulders. One more. We're going to inhale and exhale. Okay, so the first question is, what's your soul's number one desire? Drop in the chat once you have it. First thing that comes to mind, no right or wrongs. Mm, mm, so good. Okay, next question. What lights your soul up the most? Question mark. Puddles, question mark. Is that the first thing that came to your mind? Sure. I mean, mm, mm. Yeah, I resonate with that, Mithy, for sure. And it can be more than one thing too, yeah? For me, it's dancing and helping people feel better, like truly. And so combining those two things for me on a regular basis has really allowed me to festivals. Yeah. Same. Okay. Sunsets too. Yeah. So good. Okay. Last question. What in your life is currently not in alignment with your soul? And you can take a moment to really see what comes up. But what in your life is currently not in alignment with your soul? And I also want to encourage you to write a couple of these things down too, so you can come back to it and reflect it. If you're not open to sharing this, that's okay, but make sure you write it down. But if you are open to sharing it, that'd be beautiful, so we can like navigate. And this is a big piece that we're going to talk about moving forward. Mm-hmm. Thanks for sharing, Marco. I honestly resonate with that a lot. And I've been navigating this myself the last couple weeks. So good. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Okay. So for me, a big piece of being lit up is connecting to your soul and your deepest desires on a daily basis and being able being able to listen to your inner voice and your intuition on these pieces. So the first thing that I do every single day is actually connect to myself and my soul. And I ask myself questions similar to this. And I'm like, okay, what lights me up? What can I do today? Like, how can I take a step towards doing more things that light me up? And then on the flip side, what's not in alignment for you? We can talk about that later, Mithy. It's such a good freaking, yeah, that's huge. And on the other side, like, what can we do? What's not in alignment and how can we change that? Like, how can we take the steps to change that? And see what comes up and like listening to your inner voice and trusting that voice. Because I know we are all guided for different things. We all have our own path. So being able to listen to that path and trust that is really, really important skill. So if we don't, we end up ignoring our intuition, ignoring our, ourself, and we end up doing things for others, burning ourselves out, feeling low, feeling depressed, anxious, not fulfilled, not on purpose, not motivated, because we're not connecting to our true desires. And when we're kind of shunning away our desires, we're actually shunning away part of ourselves. So whenever I think about this, I'm like, how can we truly be lit up and be our happiest selves when we are not listening to a big part of ourselves? Does that resonate? And so we need to be able to tap into this every single day. And so what I want you to do, you can write this down, you can share in the chat. It's like coming back to your pieces. It's like, okay, what can I do every day to connect more? Like Marco, that'd be yours. Like, if I don't have enough connection, how can I get more connection in my life? Right. And how can you make that an intention every day? Because that's going to light you up. That's going to make you feel more alive when you connect more. So is that, reaching out to friends or sharing more, being more open? Like, what is the thing that's going to do that for you? And that's going to come from within. And Mithy, it's like there's multiple things here, but maybe let's talk about the phone. Like, okay, well, if being on my phone so much isn't in alignment with myself, and I want to connect more with my partner and spend less time on my phone, like how can we do that? How can we have systems in place? How can we set better boundaries and, improve our relationship with our phone? And that's like something that you can navigate. And obviously I have tips around this too. We can talk later. I have time for questions later, but see what comes up for you. And every day setting an intention around your desire, around your soul. And when I start to do this every day, it changes over time too as we evolve and different things come up every day. That's actually why I think it's a daily practice to do, especially in the morning before you go on your phone, before you start your day, before you start working for others, whatever it is, like just taking the time to just sit with you and be like, hey, let's have a chat. Like, let's talk, let's sit. I journal, I meditate, and I just see what comes up for me. And from that, I take action in my day and I do the things that are really going to serve me. Does that make sense? Does that land so far? Yes, beautiful. Okay. So next piece is our heart. Is our heart. I don't know about you, but your girl, I'm a softie. I used to be very, very like, I will not cry and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I can't show my emotions and I can't express and very much, because I was conditioned to be that way. And as I've been doing this work, as I've been tapping into like my heart and like working on my emotions and my nervous system and things I'm going to share, I've really been able to open up and it's been really beautiful. Obviously, it's a journey. It can be challenging too, but our feelings are beautiful guidance systems and messengers for our life. And so when I think about the heart and like the work I do with my clients around the heart, it's around creating more emotional intelligence. It's around nervous system regulation. It's around processing your emotions and healing the things in the past that are affecting you now in your day to day. And so I'm curious, what are the main emotions you feel on a regular basis? Like, what are things that you feel regularly every day that you're like, I don't love that I feel this every day. It could be great ones. So you could have like higher vibrational feelings as well. Anxiety. Anxiety is a big one. I used to feel anxious a lot as well. I don't know why I'm losing my voice. Like I've barely been talking today. I literally saved my voice for this masterclass. I know this happens every time, and it's so rude. Missy Mithy's typing. So keep typing. I'm gonna move on. So what are your main coping mechanisms then? Like when you're feeling this way, what do you tend to lean towards? Like what are your main coping mechanisms to help you alleviate this feeling? Distraction. That's a big one. What do you distract yourself with? Like, what is your main distraction? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Online, social media. Yeah. Doing things, reading things. I get it. Mm-hmm. Nice. I mean, those are a couple. Getting fresh air is great. Supplements are great. Yep. Okay. So good that you're aware of these, which is beautiful. Now, how do you want to feel instead? How do you want to feel instead of these feelings you're feeling every day? What do you desire? Energized. Ooh, I love the what energized. Energies is I like that. I like that spelling of energized. I might steal it because it's fire. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Focus, energize. I remember you mentioned that, Mithy. Definitely something that's, an added hurdle. Yes, less pain, more pain-free days. Yeah. So good. Okay. I'm sure it would, 100%. Okay. So when it comes to these, there's three things I want to emphasize here: self-awareness and self-compassion, your nervous system regulation, and feeling the feels. And so when I say these three things, self-awareness is, and it seems that you two have pretty good self-awareness. It's like, okay, understanding where you're at, how you're feeling, right? Understanding your emotions, your reactions, when you're distracting, when you're numbing, all these things, but also like not beating yourself up about it, not being mean to yourself about it, but having more compassion, right? Because when we understand that all these mechanisms and the coping and the habits we've built over the years just come from the parts of you that are trying to protect yourself and to keep yourself in your comfort zone, to keep yourself quote unquote safe, right? Because the nervous system, one of its biggest jobs is to keep you safe. And a big part of that is whatever you were conditioned to be your norm when you were younger, that's like your safe zone. And sometimes that conditioning isn't actually supportive or serving or healthy for you, but your brain doesn't know that because it's what it's been really used to for X amount of years. So it wants to keep you safe. So it keeps you in these loops and in these mindsets and in these habits and these, things that we lean towards because that's what it thinks is safe. So we need to learn how to regulate our nervous system and make it be okay when we're making new changes, when we're creating better habits, when we are, learning healthier cope mechanisms, and when we're changing our mindset, when we're building healthy habits, like all the things that cause stress on our nervous system because it's different, because it's new, because it's a challenge, it's a quote unquote threat. We need to learn how to regulate that and feel good and feel safe around these new things, right? And there's quite a few things that go into this process. It can be, complex, and it's a daily process too. And I'll share a little bit more about that, but I also have like a lot of things that I dive into in my programs with my clients too around this because it's a daily thing. It's a re-parenting of yourself. Honestly, it's a reconditioning that takes time and awareness, and also feeling your feels. And so allowing yourself to feel. So instead of leaning towards whether it's numbing or dissociating or avoiding things like that, you want to actually learn how to manage your emotions, learn how to process them, learn how to express them. When I was able to do this and understand my emotions on a deeper level, see what they're trying to tell me, heal, express, and like understand how to use the body to do this. And a big piece of my work is I actually use movement, I use dance to help people express their emotions and feel the feels and help the body release any trapped emotions. So I think dance is an incredible tool for this. And it's like my number one suggestion for everyone is to move through your emotions. So I want to share something called a 90-second rule. And when I learned this, it actually changed my life. And I was like, wow. And so this is based on neuroscience, on biochemistry within the body. So what happens is, I'll keep it simple for you. When something happens, an event happens, a thought happens, anything occurs to ourselves, our body releases chemicals, okay? And these chemicals make us feel a certain way, right? So this chemical reaction that happens in the body creates the feeling, and that feeling we feel only lasts for about 90 seconds. Yeah. So that 90-second period is when we're going to feel like, oh, I feel anxious, or oh, I feel happy, or oh, I feel sad, or oh, we're feeling that in that moment. But after 90 seconds, that chemical reaction actually has stopped. But what keeps the feeling, what keeps it going past 90 seconds is actually our thoughts, is our reactions, is our conditioned responses, is, where the mind goes around what just happened. And we actually keep ourselves in that state for longer than we need to. Physiologically, it's already gone, but like mentally, we are already like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Like, wow, I'm feeling so blah, blah, blah. And like we go on this tangent and we get in our heads a lot. And this happens to every single human being. It's not a bad thing, but it's understanding that, oh, okay, so actually my feelings come up 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes in some cases from research. And after 2 minutes, I can choose whether I want to continue this narrative and continue feeling a certain way, or maybe I want to like dive into it and like see what's up and move the emotion and process it and release it. Right. So after learning this, I was like, oh, it's kind of really empowering to know that your body has this reaction and it creates this thing and you're feeling the feels. But then after that, you can choose to like let it go. But obviously, we're not conditioned to do that. So it's very, very hard. But there is a framework that I've created that I'm going to share with you, that something that I've been working with for a long time when I work with my clients too. It's called the feel framework. I'm a really big believer that the more we feel, the more we heal. And so being able to feel our emotions and understand what they mean to us and understand how to use our emotions to propel us to improve. Okay. So the first F is a 4-step framework. The first F is feel. So you're actually just going to feel the emotion, but not getting into your head about it. Yeah. So take that 90 seconds to 2 minutes to feel your emotions. When it comes up, you're going to feel. And I hope you guys are writing this down. Also, the replay is available, but helpful to write it down, helps you learn better too. So you're going to feel. So let's say something happens, or you read a text, or you see something and the feeling comes up and you're like, oh, okay. Let the feeling come up, but don't get into your head like, oh, why am I sad? I shouldn't be sad. Oh my God, like, oh, that's so sad. Oh, that was a horrible thing. Like, try not to get into the narrative. And this is going to take time and practice, of course. But just allow yourself to feel and be there with the feeling. Give yourself space to feel without judgment, right? And after that passes, like 1 or 2 minutes, then you explore. You explore, like, okay, let me look at this like from a very objective lens, from like a experimental lens, be like, oh, interesting. I noticed that I felt really sad about this thing. Let me see why. And then see what comes up. Like, oh, maybe this is like something that's tied to this, or maybe it's because I haven't slept well, or maybe, just look around and see what could have caused this feeling to come up for you. And it's never a bad thing. It's always just like a curious thing. Maybe sometimes it's for no reason. Maybe there's no reason. That's okay too. So just like looking at it from that lens and being like, okay, let's see here. And then after you do that, you elevate or express. So there's a cycle that feelings go through. They go through a cycle. So we must allow our feelings to come up and be released. If we don't release our emotions and we trap them and we repress them, that's what causes further feelings of anxiety, of dis-ease in the body, of not feeling well, or like rumination. You keep feeling the feeling and you keep yourself in that certain state if you don't allow yourself to express and let it out, right? So we need to complete the cycle. So how you can do this, there's various ways you can do this. I always think movement and breath is one of the best ways to release an emotion and let it go from the body. And so I use movement, I use breathing to release emotions. There's other tools I share. There's tapping, there's shaking it off, there is going for a walk, there's anything, but movement is actually really proven to help people get into their body and like release those emotions. So you're going to express it, and expressing it in ways that you feel comfortable to, depending on where you're at. And if you're not in a place where you can express it, you finish off the cycle when you're at home or when you feel safe. Yeah. So it's like maybe you're at a party and you felt this feeling like, oh shit, like I can't express here. Maybe when you go home, you can, like things like that. But always remembering that you need to express that feeling. So maybe it's sad, maybe you want to cry, maybe you want to yell, maybe you want to talk to a friend, maybe you want to stomp your feet, or like whatever you need to do to express it in a way that feels good to you. And then the last piece is you learn and you take the lesson from it. So you're like, okay, I felt this way because of this, and I worked on expressing it, but like, what's the actual lesson this feeling has for me? I believe there's wisdom in all feelings, and the higher vibrational ones and the lower vibrational ones too. So it's like, oh, maybe this means that like I'm not meeting my needs in some way, or oh, maybe this means that like this person isn't ideal to be around, or like maybe I need to set boundaries more. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be something coming up from that feeling. And so if we can look at that and see what we can use to further reduce how we feel or improve how we feel. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense in the chat. Great. This is something we want to do. I do this on a regular basis, almost daily. And of course, this looks different every day. Oftentimes, it's me doing my morning routine and expressing. That's often why I dance in the mornings and I like move my body in the mornings as part of my morning routine. So I'm actually expressing like my sadness, my frustration, my happiness, my whatever I'm feeling from the day before. I need to let it out. And it's really healthy to let it out. I actually look at feeling and like expressing our emotions. I look at it as a bodily function, just like going to the washroom to pee. It's like, oh, I need to pee. Okay, I'm gonna go to the washroom. I'm gonna pee because I need to pee. But when we feel emotions, we don't process them properly. We're not taught how to. So emotions come up, and you're like, feel this way. Oh my God, I need a numb. What the heck? Like, let me dissociate. Let me numb. Let me escape. Oh my gosh, why am I feeling the feels? Because I was conditioned, and a lot of us are conditioned that feelings aren't great, and you're not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to express, and like, but no one teaches us how to do it in a way that's more acceptable. So they're like, just don't, no, don't, and suppress. Or maybe we didn't feel safe to express. Like when we did express, something happened, or your parents didn't, didn't actually help you manage your emotion. Anyway, so many things happen that make us feel unsafe to express and to feel and to let it out, but it needs to come out. Okay. It's super important for our health and well-being. It needs to come out. So every day, somehow incorporate this framework into your life, and it will change a lot of things. It really will. All right. The more we feel, the more we heal. And I say this to myself every day. It's a quote I love. Okay. How are you feeling? How are we doing for time? Oh God. Okay. We're still in this. Thanks for being here. I'm probably going to go a little bit over, but I'm going to start going a little faster. Some of these things are literally, I just need to share this. I'm like, but they need to know this and this and this. So thank you for being here still. We're still in it to win it. Okay. Next is our body. Okay, body, 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 yada, yada. Every time I say body, I think of that Meg Stallion song, like body, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so when I say body, I say understanding, taking care of your body, like understanding what you need to thrive. And that's individual, right? Meeting your physical needs, meeting your like your eating, your drinking, your sleep, like those physical basics, but also going above and beyond and understanding like what you need as a unique human being. Because of course, there's like our scientific basic needs, like you need this much protein and you need to move your body and you need to sleep, and yes, but also there's other needs that are individual that I think are really important that we understand and how that can help us thrive. And then we also want to achieve optimal health. Like I'm not here to help you just like feel a little bit better, like yeah, cool, but also there's so much more. Like as I've been diving into the work for myself and doing these habits, like I felt good, but then I just kept getting better. I was like, wow, I feel incredible. Like, whoa, this is amazing. I have energy and I'm feeling less anxious. And oh my God, like I'm more confident. And like it gets better and better. So optimal health and well-being is the goal. And I think that's really powerful. Biohacking is the way that I have really tapped into transforming my health and my habits. Now, when I say the word biohacking, what comes up for you? I love to hear this word is very interesting and people are like, what? But I'd love to hear what comes up for you when I say biohacking. And if nothing does, you're like, I don't know what this is. It's fine. Nothing? Is it nothing? If it's nothing, that's okay too. Neuro something. Yeah. That's decent, yeah. Brain stuff. Using know how to trigger things. Ooh, yeah, dude. Love that. So the general consensus, like the biohacking community, they consider biohacking as like habits, things, systems, tools that you use to improve your health for more energy and longevity. But oftentimes, biohacking is really inaccessible to most people and is like using the tools and the gadgets and like expensive sleep stuff and getting your like vitals taken, like you're getting your blood work done and like a lot of things that yeah are helpful but aren't exactly necessary to biohack at the most basic level. And I find people that biohack are often like more wealthy, like biohack, quote unquote. I think we can always biohack, but the general society thinks biohacking is something that's so out of reach. And like one of my goals is to help biohacking become something that's so normalized and that everyone can do without spending thousands of dollars on this crazy tech. Yeah. So CBT, it can be depending on the why you're using it and the intention behind it. But I actually believe anything can be a biohack, but it all comes down to how you use it and what what it creates in your body and how it can support you to thrive. But yes, that can be. So my definition of it is daily habits, practices, and tools used to improve your well-being and shift the way you feel to promote your to promote optimal health. So for me, it's really about the feeling and what it creates and how it supports your well-being. And so I think a lot of things can be a biohack depending on how you use them. It's really not about the tools, but how you use it. Yeah. So one thing that I really think biohacking is releasing better chemicals into the body on a daily basis, also known as doing better drugs. Okay, I talk about this a lot, and I'm going to be talking about a lot more, but we release drugs every single day, right? Dopamine, serotonin, like oxytocin, norepinephrine, adrenaline, cortisol, adrenaline, like all the things. There's always drugs and things happening in our body and chemicals being released. And these create a certain state of being and feeling, right? And depending on your upbringing and how you're conditioned, your body's reliant on a certain concoction of chemicals. Most of the time, it's stress, anxiety, worry, it's negative self-talk, it's feeling really sad, it's cortisol, it's these feelings that get released, that's our norm, and that's where our body kind of starts to crave. There's actually in psychology, there's something called like an emotional addiction. We can get addicted to emotions because emotions release certain things. Just like, you take a pill or whatever, it releases things in the body when you feel something. So those feelings become addictive to us, and humans want to crave this certain feeling, right? So a big part of biohacking, in my definition, is creating new habits, doing better drugs, releasing better chemicals, and getting our body hooked on better feelings every day. And that's really like my intention with like what I do. And I really believe we're like scientists, yeah? Every human has a potential to create their own concoction to, play around and experiment with what's going to make you feel better. And like, okay, if I do this, how do I feel? Okay, let me try this. And we can all create our reality. I do believe that. So do the better drugs. Okay. So when I say that, there's 5 things that I break this down to, and I call them the M&Ms, right? M&Ms are the drugs we do every day. I always say to my clients, I'm like, do you do your M&Ms today? Do you do your drugs today? And so I'm going to break this down really briefly. The first M is morning or mindset. You can take this either way or both. It's in the morning time. What can you do to improve your mindset to release better chemicals? Because oftentimes when we wake up in the morning, especially women, our cortisol is higher in the morning. Our stress hormones are higher in the morning. So, and that's a natural state. And also depending on, your conditioning, you wake up stressed, you wake up anxious, you wake up in a rush, you wake up like, not in a calm state. So it's like, what can we do in the morning to shift our mindset and to bring ourselves to a calmer state and release less cortisol? Okay. So These are various different things. For me, it's journaling, it's meditating, it's movement, it's tapping, it's dancing, it's positive self-talk, right? That's what really supports me. So for you, it's like, okay, figuring out what you can do every morning to get your mindset right, to start to release the better chemicals, right? Okay, next piece is nourishment. When I say nourishment, I mean not just what you eat. Like, of course, your food is important, nutrition is important, and it's a huge piece of what I do, getting yourself to eat enough vegetables and get enough proteins, get enough micronutrients through your food, and eat balanced meals, and not emotionally eat, but eat for the right reasons, and build habits, like all the things, and drinking your water. But also when it comes to nourishment, it's like, what are you consuming as a whole that's affecting your well-being? What content are you consuming? What thoughts are you consuming? How much are you scrolling social media? The people in your life, like, are you consuming their projections and their beliefs? Like, what are the things you're consuming that are nourishing you or not nourishing you? Yeah. So it goes much bigger than just what you eat. It's like, wow, let me look at the actual everything else that affects me as a human being. And our social circles are really huge, and our friends and our family are huge in this too. But it's like, how can we do more things in our day that nourish us, that nourish your soul, things that are going to add to that. Next one is movement. Movement is huge. I love to dance. Dancing is one of the most powerful forms of movement, in my opinion, but obviously doing the movement that you love. So how can you move your body more? How can you sit less? How can you go to more classes or go for more walks, or find an exercise you love, or go to yoga, or like dance, or do a HIIT class, lift weights, go to the gym? I don't care. Move your body, right? Every day, want to move our body, because movement actually releases incredible chemicals, endorphins, serotonin, things like that we can start to create more of in the body. And I actually don't just believe in moving, like going to the gym, like for 1 hour a day, but I believe in movement throughout the day, right? So moving throughout the day. So not just sitting for 8 hours, but taking movement breaks, going for walks, having dance breaks, stretching your body, like doing things to get your body moving. Because the more you move, the more you create this feeling, the more you release. And that's the vibe. Okay. Next one is stress. So stress management is key to optimal health, because the more cortisol we release, actually the more negative health outcomes we have. The more cortisol that's in our body, the higher risk for heart disease, for stroke, for diabetes, for like all the chronic diseases that people have. The underlying reason is because we're stressed. And there's a lot of science behind it. I'm not going to dive into the deep end, but basically our stress state shuts down a lot of our body, and our body cannot fully optimize and cannot thrive, cannot fully digest. Half our brain isn't working when we're stressed. We know our brain is scattered. We can't focus when we're stressed because of those chemicals that create a cascade of events in the body. So stress management is one of the biggest things I help my clients with. And so it's looking at your stressors, and there's two approaches. It's like, hey, my stressors are this. How can I either change my stressors? Like, can I do something about this stressor? Can I remove it from my life? Can I do something, be less exposed to it? Can I have a conversation, set more boundaries, blah, blah, blah? That's an option. Or if this is something I cannot control and it's not in my, my capacity, I don't have the control of this. How can I change my mindset towards it? How can I let this affect me less? Right. And so those are two approaches I take to stress management. There's a lot of things we can do during the day to manage our stress. And those daily habits, like breathing, like meditation, like journaling, like movement, are all supportive to releasing stress and getting your body in a better state to release less cortisol and more of the other drugs. Okay, last but not least is sleep. Sleep is huge. Most people have shit sleep, and it's a really big piece as well. Because when you sleep better, your hormones are balanced, you're able to release better hormones, you feel better, your brain's working better. A lot of things that happen overnight during sleep actually help our body cleanse and help our hormones and our endorphins, everything get released properly. So we don't sleep properly, we don't get enough deep sleep, that gets out of whack, and then our body starts to release all these other things, and it gets stressed, and we feel anxious, and we're hungry, we overeat, we binge eat, and we feel bad, and it's this whole thing. So that was quick, I know. I want you to write out like what you can do to get your daily dose. So what's your mindset, your morning routine? What can you do? How can you improve your nourishment? Movement, what type of movement are you going to do? how can you reduce your stress? And then sleep, like what are going to help you with your sleep habits, right? So you can write this out for yourself or type it out in the chat, but it's like your daily dose. And these are actually things that I focus on creating every single day. So every morning I do my routine. Every day I work on limiting my social media consumption and eating healthy foods, eating fruit, drinking enough water, right? I move my body every single day, non-negotiable, even if it's just a walk, even if it's just like I do a mini workout, even if just like I dance, I move my body, reduce my stress. Most of that for me is like my mindset around things and how can I be more calm and like not let things stress me out. And then the last one is sleep. Like my sleep habits, my sleep routine, my night routine is a non-negotiable for me as well. And so I want you to just like take a moment. I'll give you like 2 minutes to like reflect on what your daily dose can be of the better drugs. Oh yeah. So if you're typing out, amazing. If you're writing out, amazing. Just let me know when you're done and we'll move on. If you have questions as well, drop them in the chat and I'll answer them later. I just want to get through this and then I will answer any questions you have about anything. So if you need a refresher, you got morning, you got nourishment, you got movement, you got stress, you got sleep. And just even picking one thing every day you can do for this is really going to be supportive for you. All right, let me know when you're good, when you have your 5 things you can do. Good, amazing. How you doing, Mithy? All good? All good? Were you here for this whole thing? I mean, this can be your homework. Okay, catch the replay, no worries. Yeah, amazing, all good. Catch the replay, can do it later. Okay, last piece is your mind, is the mind. So we got our soul, we got our heart, got the body, like the physical, the biohacking stuff, and we got the mind. I actually believe the mind is a big piece of biohacking too. So when I say the mind, I think of being a conscious creator. So being really aware, awake, and conscious of what you're thinking and what's happening in your life, being mindful, right? Bringing mindfulness to it, understanding yourself and your thoughts. This is huge. Changing your narrative and like what you believe, changing how you speak to yourself, changing the story you say to yourself is a really big piece of feeling better and releasing more emotion, more positive emotions. So one thing I want to empower you with is that you can change your thoughts and your beliefs anytime. Like nothing is set in stone. And with the new neuroscience research, like brains, we have a lot of neuroplasticity, which means your brains are always learning new things, evolving. Like, even though we have a lot of hardwired habits that we were conditioned with, doesn't mean we can't change them. This might take a little bit extra effort, right? And that's okay. But you can change your thoughts and beliefs at any time. And so anything that comes up and like, I'm going to give you a tool that I use, like you can change it. You get to flip the script. Okay. So what is a limiting belief you have? I'd love you for you to drop in the chat. What is a limiting belief that you have that you maybe think about a lot or it comes up a lot for you that hinders you from doing the things that you want to do? That's a big one. Mm. Girl, that's one that I still work with that one. I'm still evolving that one for myself. Okay, and so what do you want to believe instead of this? Mm-hmm. Yep, yep. What do you want to believe instead? Yes. Yes, you can. But our brain, we gotta tell our brain that, yeah? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is. It so is. So I want you, Marco, write that down. Mithy, write that down. Okay. That's gonna be something I want you to repeat to yourself on a regular basis. Put it on a sticky note, put it on your wall, write it out. I don't know, put it somewhere you can see every single day. Okay. I want you to brainwash yourself. And this is super important. This is something I brainwash myself for years. I still do every day around certain things. And there's lots of ways we can do this. The beautiful thing about the mind is that it adapts to what it's exposed to most. So whatever you're exposed to a lot and over time and repetitively, that's what you're going to become. That's what you're going to create. Your brain starts to think that way. So repeating this to yourself, telling yourself these things are going to be really important. Also, one thing I'm going to share is that every thought we have releases a certain chemical, and that makes us feel a certain way. So this is why mindset's so important when it comes to biohacking, because it's the thoughts that make us feel a certain way. So if we can change our thoughts and make ourselves feel better through different words, through different ways of thinking, then we can actually make ourselves feel better by releasing better hormones and better chemicals into the body. So talking to yourself and reframing your thoughts and asking better questions is really powerful. And this is something I do literally all day, every day. Something will come up. I'm like, I reframe it. I'm like, okay, well, I don't like that. So let's think about this instead. Like, actually, I think I can do this, but let me do it in a way that works. Oh no, like I talk to myself out loud every day. People probably think I'm crazy, but it's okay because I'm brainwashing myself. Like limiting beliefs will come up. I'll have self-doubt. And I'm like, you know what? I think I can do it. Like, let's do this. Let's take action anyway. So it's like, how can you reframe your thoughts and say something different that's going to help you feel better and then take action? Because a big piece of why we don't do things, it comes down to the feeling. Because it doesn't feel good. Our body doesn't feel safe to do the thing. We don't have a positive outcome attached to doing the thing. Actually, mostly have a negative outcome attached based on the past. So a big piece of the work I do and like getting your brain on board and your body on board is feeling good about it and creating positive outcomes and creating the good things that are going to happen and focusing on not the what if, oh my God, what if this all messes up? And what if I embarrass myself? And what if like blah, blah, blah? What if I can't do it? You what if in the better. You what if I can? What if this all works out? So you ask yourself better questions like, okay, what if I do this and this outcome happens? What if I actually XYZ? You know what I mean? So how can we what if in a better way? A quote that I love, this is by Tony Robbins, is the quality of your life is only as good as the questions you ask yourself. And people don't know how powerful the brain is because our brain is like a supercomputer. So whatever we ask our brain or whatever we download into our brain, the brain is going to do. So if you ask yourself, why can't I do this? Why do I suck? Why am I so tired? Why do I lack motivation? Why do I feel so anxious? Like, whatever you're asking, you are reaffirming these things. You are asking your brain, well, okay, why do I feel like this? And it's like, well, it's because of this. It's because remember that time this happened and yeah, you suck. And it's not one time your mom told you you were, and your brain goes and finds the answers because you're asking it these questions. So if you just reframe the question, you're like, okay, no, why am I good at this? Why can I do this? Why do I feel better? How can I feel better? Right? How can I improve my life today? How can I be more committed or how can I be more consistent? Your brain will then be like, okay, let me find ways that you can be more consistent. Let me find ways, make this easier for you. So using that is really powerful. So asking yourself better questions every day. Every time a thing comes up, you ask yourself something, and that will get your brain to think in a new way. And the more you can think differently, the more you can feel differently. Okay, I was gonna do this right now, but we're running out of time. But this would be very powerful for you to do to like have some thoughts come up and like reframe them for yourself and ask yourself better questions around these thoughts. And that's your new narrative you can start to ingrain on a daily basis, right? So rewiring the brain successfully takes repetition, it takes emotion. Like I mentioned, you got to feel good about the thing, you got to repeat it because we need to know that we are going against years of programming. Like, I don't know how old you all are, but like For me, I'm 28. I started rewiring my brain. I started brainwashing myself 3 years ago. So I was going against 25 years of programming. So that takes fucking time. Like that 25 years of the same shit, of the same narrative, of this and that and this and that. So being really patient with yourself and knowing that's going to take reps. It's a daily practice. It's a evolving thing. It's going to look different. It's going to be okay. Like you're going to wobble as you learn, and that's okay too. Okay, wow, wow, wow. So that was the masterclass, and it sure was a masterclass. And these are the 4 pillars that I commit to every single day of my life. And so if you remember anything, remember every day, how can you do one thing to connect more to your soul? How can you do one thing to feel, to manage your emotions better, to process your emotions, to communicate your emotions? How can you work on your body, your physical health, eating better, sleeping better, moving your body, drinking your water, right? And then how can you work on your narrative, on your mind, on reframing your thoughts, right? And that's a lot, but taking it and breaking it down, doing one thing at a time, and then building it as you go, okay? Because this is really a lifetime of work. It's a lifetime of reprogramming, and we get to be patient with ourselves and do it in a way that supports us. How are we feeling about that so far? We're almost done. We're wrapping it up. How are we doing? Let me know in the chat. Amazing. Good. Okay. So here's the thing. You need to actually do this. So a lot of time in my coaching, like I post a lot of content. I tell you what to like, you could go on my page and like take the information and do the thing. But the problem with our current society, there is so much information, there is so much overload, there is so much out there that oftentimes implementation is the hardest thing to do. Let me know if you can relate. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go do this. I'm like, wait, how do I do this? What's the right way? They said this, but someone told me this was not good. But no, I'm supposed to eat more vegetables, but like, oh, someone said broccoli, like, oh my God, like, and you start to overanalyze, and then you get in your own way, like, oh, I don't have time, I'm so tired, I'm confused, like this is this and this is that. And like by the time you know it, you've talked yourself out of doing a thing and you don't actually do the thing. And you're like, oh, I should have done the thing. Why didn't I do that? I know better. Like, and you beat yourself up for not doing the thing. And the next day, same thing happens. Like, oh man, like, wow, I should have done the thing. Why didn't I go work out yesterday? Ooh, ah. And like, we live in that world. So many of us do. Okay. Let me know if you can relate. Now, when it comes to implementation, that is the key. If you're going to get results and change your life, you need to implement this. But the biggest piece is that we stop ourselves and we allow ourselves to get in our head, and we allow ourselves to make excuses, and we allow our limiting beliefs to stop us. And that is the biggest barrier. So it's not like you need more information. It's that you need to work on your mind and how you view things and getting out of your head and empowering yourself to take that step. Because you know what you need to do. Most people know they need to work out more or eat better or scroll less or have a morning routine or actually process their emotions instead of drinking or doing drugs, whatever it is, they know that deep in their soul. But it's that the overwhelming conditioning and the regular habits we're so used to are going to always take over unless we understand the brain and we do it on a regular basis. So obviously everyone always has 2 options. You can do this by yourself, figure out on your own, you can navigate things, you can Google things, you can consume more content. These are both great options. Or you can do with others, you can get support. You can understand how to, bypass your brain when it wants to do something. You can understand how to get your nervous system on board and like create better feelings that are going to motivate you to take action because you understand, you've learned about the body and the things, right? So there's 2 options. I've done both of these. I did myself for years. I was like, I'm gonna do it on my own. I'm gonna research and look into things and watch YouTube videos and read, which I did. I did it for years. I was like, oh my gosh, but I was still really struggling a lot of time and I still would fall off and I would not be consistent and I would fall back into my old patterns and habits until I was like, let me get some help. Let me get support with this, right? And when you learn about yourself and you have accountability, when you have someone that knows like how the brain works, knows you and knows your goals, knows what your dreams are, knows how to speak to you and things like that, it makes it so much easier. The analogy I think of is like you're learning how to roller skate. Anyone know how to roller skate here? I really want to learn, but anyway, the analogy is like you want to learn how to roller skate, okay? So you can go buy roller skates and go on your own and fall and go out there, do your own thing. And that's cool. You're gonna learn. You're gonna do the things, you're gonna scrape your knee, and that's cool. Or you can join a roller skating club and get some advice, get some guidance, understand how to manage your weight better, understand, oh, okay, cool. I can learn from this person. Oh, I have other friends. Oh, they're also roller skating. Oh my gosh, like we're all doing it together. When you fall, people help you up. When you're together, it feels like you're in this thing and you're like, you're in community, right? Now, you can roller skate both ways. You would learn, but one of them is probably a little more beneficial for you. So I have an offer, and of course, if this resonates with you, take it. If it doesn't, you don't have to. But if you're ready to get lit, which is like obviously the method I showed you, the LIT method, ready to really embody all these things I just talked about, I have something I call Lit for Life. It's my program to help you become lit for life, which is building lifelong habits, support you to thrive sober and really feel good in your body, have a regulated nervous system, understanding how to manage your emotions, getting high off your habits, right? Building biohacking into it, how to create a life you don't want to escape from, how to live a soul-led life that really makes you feel really good. And this is what my program is all about. It is an intensive program. There's so much things that we work on, lots of trainings. I help you understand the nervous system, how it works, all the things I talked about today. I go in really, really deep depth so you can have a good understanding for you and how that works. So LIT method, like I said, we got the body, the soul, the mind, the heart, and we really want to create healthy habits and positive emotions around each of these things to help us feel really good. Now, if either of you want to join my world, I have two options for you and anyone else watching the replay as well. My High Vibe Tribe is my 6-month coaching program where we have group calls, you have one-on-one calls with me, you have access to the LIT library, which is the library with all the trainings, with all the information that I've learned and compiled for you in a really easily consumable way. You got community, you got accountability, it's a vibe, you get to, roller skate with the group, you get to get support, and that's great too. And then the second option is actually a new offer I'm rolling out. It's for those that want to do it more on their own. They want less support, but you still get like monthly group calls, you get weekly check-ins in the group, and you have access to my trainings, you have access to everything. You still have the community, but you have less access to me. All right. And so this is for people that want different journeys in their life. So this is options for you. The first one is $497 a month. Second one is $97 per month. And if you join, you have access to all the things and you got me in your back pocket, and it's really powerful to do things in a group. So if you want anything about that, you can let me know. You can DM me. But otherwise, if you have any questions about anything I just shared, you want to dive deeper into anything, I'm here. Thank you so much for being here. That was such a masterclass. I need to drink more water and I'm going to take a pause, but I'm going to stop the share. If you have anything you want to ask, please ask away. Otherwise, thank you for your time. I hope you really take what I just shared with you, take action on it. If you do these things every day, your life will change. And it's just about you being able to implement them on a daily basis. Yeah. And creating those daily habits and cutting to your soul and working on the feelings and your health and your mindset and reframing your thoughts and being a very conscious consumer of your reality and knowing that you can always do better and improve your well-being when you choose to be in that state. And so that's what I want to share. Thank you for being here today. If you have questions, let me know, drop them in the chat or unmute yourself. But thank you so much for being here. I hope this is helpful for you. And I hope you really do, whether or not you work with me, take action on these things and improve your well-being. Thank you so much, Mithy. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm so glad you were too. I am. And if you have any questions, obviously you can always message me after this as well. You can DM me or anything, and I'm happy to chat to support you guys. You are so welcome, Marco. No questions? No one has questions about anything I shared today? Wow, I must have done a good job then. I must have done a great job. But if things do come up, let me know. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I will see you all very soon. Feel free to hop off. I'm gonna hang out until the last person leaves. But yeah, so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And keep doing the thing. Yeah, try it for sure. Try it out, do it yourself, see what comes up for you. And then if you have questions, let me know. Bye. Thank you, Mithy. Bye. All right, thanks, Marco. Okay, go take action, go write it out, go make a plan for yourself. I'm gonna challenge you to go do something right now. Like right now, go do something to improve your well-being. Go figure out how you can get more connection in your life. Go take action and like make a plan for yourself. And then obviously, as you implement it and have questions, reach out to me. But I want you to do something today for yourself. Okay. Thank you. Good. Amazing. Okay. I will see you soon. Take care and send you all so much love. Bye.